In the end, I just want to let everyone know exactly why the ultra rich in America are working so hard to try to get me my right to study. It's a God-given right every human being has in this world. They're born with the right to study. I was born so poor in my life that in the end, when law enforcement tried to frame me in the year 2023 for this wedding incident, while they were running their sex scheme and money fraud, I could just tell them right back, look, there are a lot of places I wasn't present as a child because I couldn't afford to do so with being raised by a single mother. I didn't have the money to be so. And let me just tell you that this wedding incident, I would not be present in like a lot of incidents. And yeah, and law enforcement only tried to frame me in the year 2023 after I won my case on August 25th, 2023. And all I asked law enforcement was, I won my case now. I know you know about my Brain Savant. I know you have a brain scanner, since I never told anyone about my Brain Savant, and they all know. All I want is to be able to study. I just want to study. I'm just going to study at my own house. I won't go to a university. I already have a college degree. All I have to do is give a board exam for it. I work really hard for it, and I was working with a locked Brain Savant, and on top of that, you have the biochem exam at the end. That's an example of how law enforcement forced me to fail that exam, like how they forced me to fail a lot of the other exams as well. My mother worked at a Food Lion grocery store, and I knew how hard she worked. And I worked really, really hard as well. I slept on the side of the streets. I had 2 sandwiches and a pack of ramen noodles for days. I used to tutor someone for oncology just for food. And at one time, my mother's money wasn't coming for a while, so I even had to steal money. I even had to steal food from his kitchen just to feed myself. I'm sure law enforcement is a witness to all these things. I've been a slave since I was an 11-year-old child, tortured almost every single day using mental torture. And later on, when I became older in life, I found out that I had a very rare autistic brain savant, giving me photographic memory, innovation, and focusing, the ability to use it for hours without tiring. After I won my case fair and square on August 25th, 2023, I told law enforcement straight out, I have a brain savant. I know you know because I never told anyone about it. And I know you have a brain scanner because I never told anyone about it, and you know about it, and everyone else does too. I want to be able to use it. Law enforcement refused and instead tried to frame me for a wedding incident, proving clearly that law enforcement was not only running sex schemes and money fraud the entire year of 2023, but they had also covered over crimes that I could not be present for because I couldn't afford to be there. Which also begs the question on why the news media is protecting them, law enforcement, so much. The first set of relatives were my dad, the greedy framer, and his framer sisters. Every single talking point that they had November 20th, early March 2026, then they tried greedy tactics, really disgusting greedy tactics, and then afterwards they had more set of lies. Those were all their talking points. All of it found to be complete and total lies, only due to extreme envy and greed. Now they have no talking points and they have to use it from law enforcement, whatever law enforcement gives them. Because they can't claim that they witnessed me commit a crime anymore, since they've been given that chance a billion times, and every single time they lied about something. Second set of relatives that tried to enviously lock up my brain savant was Asad from Michigan, and the other people from Michigan that might try to lock up my brain savant only due to extreme envy. What we found out from these set of relatives was that these set of relatives, like Asad, the greedy framer, Asad from Michigan, was more involved in everything bad that could be considered even remotely bad, that I could not even remotely be present in due to being raised by a single mother and not even being present in places where these things would be talked about, so I wouldn't even know about it. And in the year 2023, I found out exactly why God had created me poor, because I was just like, I don't even know about this wedding incident because I was never there where anyone could even talk about it. I didn't have the money to do so. My mother was a single mother working in a fast food restaurant, and I had no money to be present anywhere where even secrets were shared. I just stayed at home and worked hard, either helped my mother out or did something else to help my mother out. Either worked myself at a basement of a doctor's clinic, did something, and as soon as I could work, I started working day and night. I was working at Rite Aid, I worked at Home Depot, raised enough money to buy a car for me and my mother. I worked really, really hard in life. I did not have the money to be anywhere, being raised by a single mother. And in 2023, I found out exactly why God had created me that way. The second set of relatives, except for my dad, the greedy framer, and his framer sisters, and the spokesperson, were people like Assad from Michigan, who were enviously trying to lock up my brain savant, despite me never even being present anywhere in life. After gaining the slightest bit of mental maturity, and even before then, it was only be due to sheer necessity of a single mother working in fast food restaurants and not having any place to leave me, but places that would watch me for free. And after I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, we know for a fact I was never present anywhere. To the point that this wedding incident I could not be present in, because if I was, then I would know about it, or someone would whisper to me about it. I would be at a place where someone would tell me about it, like how Busher Akhtar was trying to tell me a secret in 2019, which was literally the only time in my life anyone actually ever did tell me a secret. I told her I don't want to know, and I didn't hear the secret. I don't care. Law enforcement knew about it, but they didn't care. Law enforcement was running their sex schemes and money fraud the entire year of 2023. The second set of relatives, like Assad from Michigan, we found out were more guilty than I could ever be, knowing about crimes, committing crimes, and law enforcement covering over all of it. Through these two set of relatives, my dad, the greedy framer, and people like Assad, we found out that Assad and the other people from Michigan were more guilty than I could ever be. And we found out that these people were only doing everything against me due to extreme envy, due to which I ask and plead to the courts to not let random relatives just appear out of nowhere, extreme envy, and claim things about me, to lock up my brain savant only due to extreme envy, when we all know for a fact that every country in the world is only fighting for my right to be able to study. Law enforcement is only inhibiting me from being able to study and use my brain savant. And the ultra-rich in America only want me to be able to study. I just want to study. I want to study in my own house. I already have a college degree, and I'll give my board exams for it when my brain savant's unlocked. But I just want to study. I just want to study in my own house. That's all I want. I want all my brain savant potential, please, be unlocked so I could study. That's all I want. I just want to study. I don't want anything else. Whatever the government thinks that I could get from compensation, I can make a lot more than that just by using my brain savant. And if you don't believe me, just read the artificial intelligence reports from April 22nd, 2025. You have August 9th, 2022 for 6 hours. You have June 5th, 2025. I was able to bypass the torture tools. You have November 14th, 2025. And I'm sure law enforcement probably tested a lot more. They also tested May 10th, 2026 recently. The results came out June 7th, 2026. Yeah. So if you read these artificial intelligence reports, people in the government will find out that whatever they think that I could get as compensation from the government, I could make a lot more than that just by using my brain savant. And in fact, I'm willing to sign a contract with the government, letting them know that everything that they did was completely fine, and that all I want in return is to be able to study. I just want to study. That's all I want. I just want to study from my house, and I'll even have the textbooks verified. That's all I want. I just want to be able to study. But before I'm allowed to study, I want a 30-minute brain savant test so So the courts administer this, and we know for a fact that after 30 minutes are done, law enforcement is not going to cheat by trying to use amnesia drugs on me like how they did for 4 years from October 2019 till July 1st, 2023. I don't want any money in compensation from the government. And all I want is to be able to study. I just want to study. Okay, and I want the courts to make sure that if any relative comes forward saying anything about me anymore, then there's evidence, clear and valid evidence, because the first set of relatives, like my dad, the greedy framer, and his framer sisters, were complete liars. They lied over and over and over and over again. And the second set of relatives, like Assad from Michigan, and everyone that was with him from Michigan, were more guilty for everything that I could not even imagine being, due to being raised by a single mother in poverty who never cared about anything going on anywhere in life and only cared about raising me, and I only cared about working hard for her, as the facts and evidences will show. And the clear evidence is the fact that this wedding incident that law enforcement tried to frame me for, I wasn't even present in. So that just proves it right there, that random relatives should not be allowed to just come to court and try to argue that my brain savant should not be freed at any cost due to extreme envy that they might hold against me, like we already had 2 sets of relatives try to do, both of them being found more guilty than I could ever be. And right now, I'm only asking the courts for 2 things. One is to not let random relatives just come over and enviously try to argue that my brain savant should not get freed, because they could be guilty, like the first set of relatives, like my dad, the greedy framer, who had been lying over and over and over again, and all his framer sisters and the spokesperson. And the second set of relatives, like Assad from Michigan and the other people from Michigan, who are more guilty than in everything possible that I could ever be, due to my mother being a poor single mother working at fast food restaurants her entire life, and me working hard for her and with her the entire time. I ask only that I'm allowed to study. I just want to study. I want to study for my own house. And I'm willing to sign a contract saying that I will not ask for any compensations from the government for a single penny ever in my entire life, as long as they let me study with my full brain savant potential. I want all this unlocked. My ears, April 22nd, these ears were all the way in the back of my head. It was unlocked on April 22nd, 2025. I want that. I want the ear drugging removed completely so I could study as much as I want. I could even give the textbooks. I'm going to start with medicinal chemistry, and yeah. And government can verify these textbooks, but I just want to study. Whatever the government could offer me as compensation, I could make a lot more than that just by using my brain savant. And if you don't believe me, you could check the artificial intelligence reports from August 9, 2022, from April 22nd, 2025, June 5th, 2025, November 14th, 2025, May 10th, 2026. All these artificial intelligence reports will tell you that whatever the government thinks that they can offer me, I can make a lot more than that just by using my brain savant. And I don't need any money from anyone. I'm just going to give my board exams and put that aside for the overseas PharmD degree that I have. But I just want to study in my house. And if you ask around law enforcement, you'll know exactly why I just want to study in my house and what my brain savant's really capable of doing. We could find out in 30 minutes, but due to law enforcement's extreme envy, they won't let that 30-minute test occur. Even after saying things about me, due to which I went to Moscow, Russia, and I forced them to accept the brain savant test for 30 minutes in front of the entire world watching, and even then, they cowered away. I'm only asking for my right to study. It's a God-given right. Every country in the world is raising human rights concerns only because I'm being inhibited from studying. And ultra rich, they just raising human rights concerns because I'm not being allowed to study. I just want to study. As long as I'm allowed to study, everything will be removed and everything will be fine. No one will say anything. And I just want to study. I want to study at my house. That's all I want. And it's raising human rights concerns due to the fact that everyone is born with the right to be able to study. And it's just not right to inhibit someone from being able to do so. Thank you very much.